Alright, hey guys, this is Bezmor bringing you our first real TW of the season against GoldDigrz. And yeah, I haven't TW'd in probably, I don't know, like a month because it was like either PWI or like non-factor stuff. So anyways, I recorded this TW and I figured I would do some commentating on it. But first of all, some explanations. I just finished my finals week at my university, so I've been extremely busy for like the past 2 weeks or so, just finishing up my semester. So that's why there hasn't been anything new really, and yeah, I haven't really done much of anything. But TW season just got real because this is our first fight against GoldDigrz since the map reset, and so yeah, it was pretty cool. And you can tell I'm really rusty because I make a ton of mistakes in this video, but I'll point them out and try to show you where you guys can avoid being stupid like me, and hopefully you'll learn some cool things. So anyways, as usual, fly up, get a good idea of what you're up against. Like, I always get there as fast as I can, start calling out targets, things like that, just letting my squad know so that we know what we're up against. And they decided to put like I think it was like 3 full squads, lots. They committed a lot of stuff to this left path right at the very beginning, and you know, we want to kill the clerics, we want to kill the Vinos, but look how far back they are. Like, they're actually in the right position, so we can't really do anything about that. And since they have numbers and cats coming, we're just like, we got to keep kiting it back. So you notice I'm trying to hesitate, like I'm not trying to get in deep, and we're just trying to pull them back while we wait for our second backup squad to get here, because we've already called for our reinforcements so that we'll have 2 squads here to handle this. So as you can see, I'm using crystal lights and great glacial shards a ton just to keep CCing people and keep baiting them back. And as you can see, their catapults are now in front of all their support, which is good because it makes them vulnerable to things like purges, assassin CCs, and you know, their people can't really help them other than the clerics from far back. So as you can see here, I'm targeting the clerics, but we can't get in on that because they're just too far back. So we got to keep kiting back. And here's one mistake. I mean, you notice I'm completely surrounded by the other side. That's bad, but they didn't capitalize on it. I moved back and get away with it, but shouldn't be standing in places like that. Your positioning is really important, especially with things like blade tornadoes. You can see that just came up on the right, and because their catapult barb like completely stood in the wrong spot, he got wrecked. That's like a jade plus 12 barb, and he just got owned because he misstepped. So positioning is everything. And as you can see, our secondary squad I think showed up now, and right here I noticed I'm getting owned, so I went a fortify into a psychic will because they didn't stun me, they used movement seal. And then I got a purify proc, and so I immediately get out of that safe, and I didn't have to expend absolute domain. Lots of people will AD in a situation like that, but fortify into psi will oftentimes get you the same results. Now here, this is where I got caught, and I clicked my AD, but 300 ping is not very conducive to having successful absolute domains. So remember, in TW situations, always early. You cannot underestimate lag. So again, this is right after I died. I came back out and I just decided to get back onto the path, and again, their catabarbs completely out of position, and while we've got some people distracting their support back there, you know, we get to use them as cheapos basically. So here again, just trying to CC. I know this barb's squishy. My BM tells me he's got HF ready, so we're about to nuke this catabarb down, and they expended absolute domain, I feel like. Yeah. As you can see here, I switched from my defense gear to my offense gear because I wanted to just instantly wreck that catabarb, but we couldn't go through with it because they countered. So now we're just waiting to do it again because he still has the HF ready. And as you can see, there's really no support. There's like 1 BM and 2 barbs. Everything else we already took out or have it dealt with. So here we finally get our HF set up, instantly one-shot the barb. That's what we wanted. And I switched to the BM because he has the HF on him, but then somebody called for an assist on the other catabarb, so I switched to that. You know, it's all about your coordination and taking advantage of opportunities. For example, the catabarb just res. That's an opportunity to kill them before they can use any skills. Free kill right there. Now this is a little bit dangerous. Actually, it's a lot dangerous because I didn't know that blade tornado was coming up behind me, and I was still in my nuke gear instead of my defense gear, so I got one shot. But stuff like that happens, and that's just what happened. You know, when you haven't TW'd for a month, you suck at TW. If you're me, maybe you're natural. I'm just gonna assume all the people watching this video are pro TWers. No, I'm just kidding. But don't do stupid shit like that. Bottom line. So anyways, come back out again. I don't have buffs, so I'm trying to stay really far back this time, and thankfully nothing's coming at us. But we've got the catapults taken care of, so now it's just dealing with all these extra, classes like Vinos, like BMs, stuff like that. So here, as soon as I get reeled, the one bad thing about the reel skill on BM is that it takes time. There's a duration between when you target, use it, and then when they're actually right in front of you. So you can always fortify while being reeled. And it basically means there's not much they can do once you've been reeled. I pretty much fortify, which is for me F1, and then I press the S key and just walk backwards away from it. And I don't die to reel very often because, unless they've got like a Sin sitting there to tackling slash, you're going to get away with that if you use the Fortify. So again, there's just the advantage of being a Psychic is anytime a Blade Tornado comes up, you can pretty much Psychic Will and just ignore it, as opposed to having to like use something like Expel. So that's just good. And then here they kind of realized that they were getting beat and they started to run back, but by this point it's way too late. We've got our full 2 squads here now, and we're just cleaning up with whatever's left. And there's a Psychic on the left side, but since I didn't have buffs, I didn't want to go too far out and put myself in range of it, or for example the S3 Wizard right there. So when you have to be aware always of what you're capable of, what you're capable of tanking, and what you're not capable of, and not capable of tanking. So I know if I go up against a full S3 Wizard with Wizard or Psychic with self buffs, there's a good chance they'll turn around, get a crit, and I'm gonna get dropped. So I hesitate, I see the Cleric buffs come on me, and then I say, okay, I can go up a little bit now because my magic defense is 20k. So, it's all about just, being smart and being aware. And so after we did that wipe, we just regrouped, rebuffed, and got ready for the next push. And it's pretty much the same story the whole TW. Their barbs run out in front, they get separated from their support, or we take their support out, and then we wipe them. So yeah, I'm just going to run you through what I'm thinking as I go through TW. So here it's like, I want to kill the Vino because it's a purge danger, but the BM's on me, I have to react to that. So I burned my Fortify there, and he didn't stun me, but maybe it was because I fortified. Like, if I hadn't fortified, it would have been really easy for him to use Roar of the Pride, Drake Bash, Aeolian Blade, anything to really CC me. But I just fortify, it's only on a 30-second cooldown, I have it at level 1, so it's like a no chi cost. Why do barbs armor me? I don't know. And waste their APOth. But yeah, like, you gotta be reactive, because sometimes it's like better safe than sorry. Like, you preemptively fortify, you get away with something. So here I notice I'm again in a bad spot, but I just dropped Fortify again, and I get out of there like, no harm done. Especially because there's no magic DDs to capitalize on the self debuff that it applies. And here we get them nice and CC'd up, and we just get some free AoE and charm ticks. But you see they're getting Mystic Heals, so this is the part where killing the support, you either have to separate people from their support in order to kill them, or you have to kill the support. Because tanky targets like plus 12 Jade Barbs or Jade BMs, they're not just going to drop. So we would like to kill the Mystic and the Cleric that are behind, but their BMs suddenly rush in, their support kind of caught up to them at this point, so we have to again begin kiting back. And we have an Archer support squad that just came in on the right side, I feel like. So we're kiting back, and their Catabarbs and a few of their rather unwise people decided to follow us forward. And what that did is it separated the Cleric support from the Clerics. As you can see, their Clerics are way back there, their Mystic is back there, and they've got, S3 Archers just laying into them from the side, see? And they get dropped, while their BMs and Barbs are up here getting their charm ticks by us. So you really have to be aware, like even with inner squad communication, if you have more than one squad, they need to all realize you have to stick together or else you're not as strong. And here, I mean, it's just pretty straightforward. There's Catabarb, we can kill it. But of course, anytime purges go off, you gotta do that. And so see, this Mystic, I knew the Mystic was causing problems because it was gonna spam heal. So I called it, and immediately one of my 2 Clerics God sealed it. And so then we can ignore that support for 15 seconds, which is another way to deal with it when you can't spread them out and separate the Barbs and the support, and you can't just kill them either. God seal is your best friend, because if you can capitalize on that window where they are not able to do anything, you can make some good plays. So here I'm positioned myself near the tower. I like being out on this left side of the tower. If you're in between the towers, I always feel a little bit confined, and you're subject to rubber banding a lot of the times because of the towers if you try to move around them and stuff. So I like to be out on this left side because if somebody comes up to me, it gets them in tower range a lot of the time. And I was also being hanging back because I noticed my psi buffs were off like about a minute ago, and I was like, I need to recast them, but right now I kind of want to get this, these barbs down. And since there's not like DD, like we don't have archers on us or wizards trying to drop nukes, I said I'll forego the psi buffs for a minute and just get in the safe spot and nuke from here. So at this point I saw the barb get his invoke off, and I was like, okay, I'll just get my psi buffs back up, because if the silence buff is up and somebody AoEs, it's extremely valuable. And since he was invoked, I was trying to look for another target, but there really wasn't anything close by, so I just decided to start moving on, and we knew that invoke should be up relatively soon, and there it went, and barb dies. Yay. 29k? Oh sweet. 30k hits. I like it. Anyways, so now that I've got my side buffs back up, I'm very stupid and I run forward, but it's okay because I'm full buffed and we pretty much wiped everything. So yeah, as you can see, it's just all about positioning, knowing what you have, knowing what you don't have, and stuff like that. And yeah, if you're a psychic with average gear, barbs that are in tiger form, you can just ignore. Like, they'll hit you all day long, but the worst they can do is like move seal you and prevent you from doing other stuff, or make you target them. And like this one barb, you'll see throughout the TW, I just like ignore him completely. Maybe choke back a few PDF charms from time to time, because God of Frenzy crits even in tiger form can hurt, especially with the new tiger form and stuff like that. But yeah, here I was just like, oh, I'm sick of this barb, I'm just gonna blow him up because I can, and he gets dropped, and I still have Tide Spirit duration, so I Holy Path forward because I wanted to try and use that duration, and it was worth. Got the kill. So yeah. I generally don't use Tide Spirit that often because, it's 2 sparks, 9 seconds of channeling, and 15 seconds of a slight increase in magic attack. So it's really like, maybe, maybe not. But, yeah, at this point we were just like, we knew that most of their squad would be filtering back towards us at this point, so I felt it was okay to use my genie completely just to catch up to one person and get the kill, because as you can see, their support is filtering and it's a little bit slow, so I know that like by the time they try to get on somebody like me, I'll have my genie back up. Plus I know my squad is moving up forward, so I'm not going to be alone, and neither is this Sin. We just cover each other. So don't always, like, I abuse Holy Path a lot sometimes when I probably shouldn't, but yeah, just you'll get used to it if you practice enough. And here again, just drop in. I was in my offense gear just to nuke stuff, but as soon as I saw the blade tornado coming up, I dropped back into my defense gear. If you're gonna switch sets or switch weapons or anything like that, you gotta get good at swapping and do not get caught in the wrong set. It will make you look like a complete retard, because like I've gotten hit for like 20-30 Ks sometimes, and it's just like, oh shoot, I got caught in the wrong gear, and it was my bad. So if you're doing gear swapping, just do it sparingly, do it carefully, and always like have it set in your mind to default always getting your defense gear as soon as you're not using the offense. So here again, focusing the cleric just because we need to get them down so they can't support. And she got a Purify proc and ran into us, which kind of worked for us. When I see Purify proc on me, my instant reaction is the same as when I get reeled. Hit the backwards key. You do not want to go deeper and waste your Fortify. Unless you're trying to bum rush through something when you go on the offense side of TW, and our squad actually did go on offense for all of maybe 1 minute at a certain point in this TW. You'll see that later in the video. But for the most part, like if you're defending or something like that, you need to always run backwards. Even if you're a cleric and you're trying to heal somebody, you're no good to that person if you end up dying just to cast the Purify. So here, this is a really bad situation to be in. I've got 3 people on me, but I got my Expel in and pretty much just got away with it with no problems. And then I got another Purify proc, so they just all sat there wailing on me and did almost no damage. So that's just why the power of Expel, Plus, I have my Psychic Will to back it up. So I used my Expel because I was like, oh shoot, I'm caught. And then I used my Psychic Will right after, so I'm cycled. There's really nothing they can do to you at that point. I think that's one of the reasons people say Psychics are a broken class. I disagree completely. I think Psychics are a horrible class, but that's just me. Anyways, so yeah, here again, I notice I'm about to get caught again, because I'm an idiot, but I have my Genie back up to full charge, and this is the advantage of having a Magic Fight Genie. I've got 185 usable energy on my Genie, and a recharge, like, I think I have 100 magic, or 90 something, so I'm getting like almost 3 back per second, so I can use my Genie a lot and get away with it. And I recently got a question that said if I had a 91 plus Genie, what would I put on it? And I have my Genie built 100% defense and utility. There's no offensive skills on it, which sometimes sucks because it's like, dang, this target's really tanky, I could use some extra damage. And Extreme Poison is like a 30% increase or something like that. It's pretty powerful. So it's definitely worth having, but I like having Nullify Poison for when Venos try to drop Novas on you, or you're afraid of getting that one lucky Scarab that's going to let the BMs catch up to you, things like that. And that's just a playstyle preference. I take Nullify Poison to ensure that I can always get away from crap. It's also helpful against Mystics, so that's why I have that. But if I had another Genie skill available, I would either probably take Extreme Poison. Enrage is an option, but I don't like it personally, so I wouldn't advise it. It's a very situational skill in my opinion, and Extreme Poison is applicable in every situation, so that's that. Anyway, so as you can see, I kind of got caught in my squishy gear while that BM was IG'd, but it was okay, nothing too bad. Fizz Def Charms, thankfully no Goth crits came out of it. And again, here you see there's one BM, one Barbs, completely separated from the support. And my BM called for an assist, so I said, of course, and I Holy Pathed because the faster you can get there, like you see how spread out they are, they've got 2 people behind me, about 5 people right here in the mid, and they had 3 more coming from way far back. So if I can wipe them out fast, then I can kite back, and we've just removed a cleric from the equation. So that's why I use the Holy Path there, which is usually not a good idea because stuff like that happens. But as you can see, I hit my Fortify, but my IG didn't go off. I think I said it earlier, but I had about 300 ping for the TW, so yeah, there's not much you can do. And I just towned it because, you know, there's not much point. So anyways, come back out, and here I'm standing between the towers, and normally, I said earlier, I like to stand on the left side of the towers, and you'll see why here, because I think I tried to move around the towers and ended up getting caught on the tower, which, I mean, that's partially lag, but there's not much you can do. Ooh, and I had random screen freezes as usual. I think that's something wrong with my fraps. But see here, I was trying to get to that left side so I could get in a position to nuke better, but I was still hanging. I actually stayed in between the towers here, I think, because I didn't have any buffs, and I was just like, if I put myself out too far, you know, there's a possibility that a Seeker will drop something on you. So here, I got rubber banded 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is why I don't like standing between the towers. I just got rubber banded 8 times, lost 5 seconds trying to run around a tower. Stupidest thing ever. So here, now I'm in the position I want to be. I've got cleric support on me now, so I'm not worried. I even channeled up an AoE, but it didn't get to finish, and that's why I think Stone Stem Asher is stupid, and I used Red Tide instead. Anyways, yeah, so we're just clearing out these people, and as you can see, I have the Cleric on target again. You cannot allow clerics to just sit there. I immediately told the assassin in my squad assist off me, and the BM did as well. That's just how we roll. We say we overkill pretty much anything we get a chance to. So as you can see, there is a wizard dropping a Dragon's Breath on top of his own catapults. Now, I'm sorry, but that's just, I don't know why you would do that. Like, we had a Sin who is using a bow, so he's not even standing on top of the cataparbs. He's standing good, like, you know, 10 meters away. Why would you Dragon's Breath there? I don't know. It's a waste of a spark for nothing. But anyways, you know, this is just why it's kind of funny sometimes. We had a lot of laughs in TW. We'll leave it at that. So as you can see, Barbs overextended, no support. They pretty much just get owned. And yeah, there's not much else to say about that. So here, Holy Pathing out, trying to see if there's anybody we can kill. And there was a huge miscommunication where our right-hand squad was not on right path, and they were on B path. So our whole squad, like, we had pushed up to their gate towers, sorry, their gate towers, and then we all had to town port, or no, rush, yeah, we town ported and switched to right path to come over here and deal with the right path. But, you know, whatever. We're the main defense squad, I guess, and that's our job. And so we just showed up over here, immediately dropped the cleric, and then we noticed there's like just a few noob seekers, and there's like one catabarb. And at the same time, we had a small squad of archers that we called over to this side. And so I think we just came over, wiped as many people as we could really fast, and then we got back to our left lane and left the archer squad to clean up, as it were. I think you'll see that pretty soon. My squad is gonna hightail it out of here. Yep. We all just leave and say, alright, the rest's on you guys, archers. So yeah, that was that. And then we just get back to our side, and basically the way we're operating is we do not let cats get to our base. So the reason there was a miscommunication was because we were constantly having 2 catapults down left lane. They always did that. I don't know why. It's stupid, to be honest. And then they were rotating their other cats between B lane and right lane. So it was just like, okay, they're gonna keep doing that. So at one point, because they were on B, our right path defense squad was on B, and then they didn't switch back over to right afterwards, so that's why those cats got moved up. But because of, you know, scouts and our sins and whatnot, we knew that it was there, and that's why our squad went to respond. Now we hear that our left lane, because we had to leave it to cover the right lane, had a cat on gate tower, so we rush over, and immediately we just basically ignored the cat and said, kill the support. And as you can see, instantly dropped the mystic, instantly get like all of 3 of them AD'd like straight up, and we're like, okay, fine, that's cool. And then we just wrecked them right after. And I think it looks like somebody might have even got the catabarb while I was god sealed. Maybe? Yeah, they god sealed me, which is great because it made the Seeker's Gemini Slash do 200 damage. Pro! Anyways, oh, nope, there's the catabarb. So as you can see, as soon as we clear the sport, we just turn around and nuke the catabarb. And we lost one of our gate towers, which is kind of like shame, but it wasn't our fault. Well, I mean, it was because we had to leave the lane. And, you know, losing one tower, not that big a deal, as long as you have another one still to fall back to. And again, abusing the fact that they rezzed, just immediately turn around, send them home right away, and then turn around and kill whatever else is behind them, stuff like that. So, you know, our TW strategy is pretty simple. Don't let cats get on your base, and as long as you coordinate well, react well, and execute well, you should have no problems, and then that provides the other lanes with, you know, a fighting chance. And actually, the whole time that my squad's defending, our B lane is just shoving like mad. I believe they've been on the crystal for probably a certain amount of time already. And I mean, we've already taken down their B lane and B gate towers, I believe it is. So we're just holding out and letting the offense do their job. And as you can see, you know, sometimes you have to react fast, cover another lane, take up extra responsibilities. That's fine. Do it fast. Use your 79 fly skill. It's absolutely awesome. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And you will be successful in TW if you guys have, you know, if you've got the gear and the numbers and the coordination. Like, it's all about coordination. Like when we do our B lane pushes, we keep our support together with our cats rather than have the cats run out in front like complete idiots. You know, we try to stagnate it, use waves, use coordinated pushes, things like that, and it gets the job done. So here we got up to the towers, and I was trying to bait them out. Like, I was trying to walk just close enough that they would come and try and kill me, but they didn't do it, so I was sad. But we saw this squad forming up, and they called the archer squad over from right path. And so what happens is the archer squad like shows up on the far side of the towers and instantly somehow kills that cleric. Like a stunning arrow and a purge landed, so she ADs. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, I guess maybe we should try to kill some people. So here again, their barb just used his anti-stun and his apoth for no apparent reason, like just to run up and attack a blade master. That's a plus 12 jade blade master he's trying to kill there. So great use of apoth. Hint, don't do that in TW if you're a Catabarb. And as you can see, for his troubles, he gets insta-gibbed. Congratulations on failing. Anyways, so we just, at that point, like, the archer squad had pretty much killed the support for us, and their not so smart people ran right into our squad. And so I was like, alright, it's tower dive time. And I just vac powdered right through. And this is like applying crazy pressure because we just wiped out their cats for free because mistakes. We capitalized on a mistake that they made and luck, pretty much. And so our squad decided, like, alright, let's push in and destroy some stuff. So we just went through the towers and pretty much wrecked everybody that was here. As you can see, you know, Mystic just got wrecked. Their one cat Barb, who has a brain and doesn't use their APOS to try and attack a Blade Master, is trying to stay at the towers, but, you know, there's not too much you can do when there's like 2 squads of people trying to kill you. But we actually ignored her because we're like, it's just a Barb. We can go back and kill it whenever we want. So we just decided to stick with the support and things like that. So yeah, we're just trolling at this point because we're like, we're pretty much set, I feel. But the thing is, we knew that the people we were just killed would be coming back out. So at this point, the BM, you know, our squad lead, he made the call, alright, get back on the other side of the towers after we wipe these people, just so that we'll be ready for that next push. And then if they make the same stupid mistake to run out past the past the towers, then we get another free thing. And if we just keep repeating that, we don't even have to defend per se because we're actually on offense. And, you know, like, there's a saying, best defense is strong offense, or the other way around, whichever you prefer. So, you know, it works. As long as your squad doesn't get caught out of position and pay for it. Like, if our whole squad was on the front side of that and we got pincered between the towers and like 2 squads of, you know, if they were all like buffed up and stuff, that would be bad. And here, this is just another thing about lag and terrain that's fail. I got rubber banded pretty hard here. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, rubber banding is really bad in PWI. Oh, 6. Look at that. But anyways, here, their Catabarbs, you know, this one's, as you can see, fully buffed up. And this is the difference between somebody who's thinking and somebody who's not. She's getting nuked by a psychic for free. I'm not even in tower range. What should your reaction be to this? You should run the hell away because you're getting charm ticked for free. And she does. So smart Barb. Now this is what a bad Barb does. They see that they're getting hit. They don't have any buffs except BM and self, and so they run towards what's trying to kill them and use occult ice, which is normally not a bad thing. It does stop the person from hitting you, but it walks you into the Vino purge and then the Vino PDEF proc and then the Sin insta-giving you. Now that's a little bit embarrassing for a plus 12 Barb with Jades of Steady Defense to get killed by an assassin. Just think about it. Smart Barb? Not so smart Barb. I'm going to leave that up to you guys. But anyways, so as you can see, we basically got another free kill on their Catabarbs. And this gives us a lot of freedom. Like, when their Catabarbs are doing stuff like that, we can shove through their towers, wreck everything in sight, and, you know, we completely control the left lane, which means our other lanes are free to do whatever, because, look, there's like 2 squads on this path. And so as you can see, we're in this nice semicircle here, just wrecking anything that tries to come into us. But then, as you can see, they kind of decided to come in now. And so I just immediately fortify, back up, and keep doing what I'm doing. And I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You capitalize on the mistakes of your opponents. As you can see, most of these people don't have cleric buffs even. So that's a huge advantage for us. We can just blow through them really easily. So yeah, but, you know, we're not playing stupid. We don't run into a fight just because we think we can win it. We're kiting back. We're not getting caught out of position, and we're just consistent. Like you can see, like my whole squad just kind of moved back together in a line, and it's causing the other team to get spread out. And then we get isolated targets like that who just get purged, and then we wreck them, and then we can push forward. And as you can see, reel into fortify. And I even managed to kill the wizard while getting reeled. And then I just, you know, back up, and the archer's got my back, and whenever somebody goes for him, I'll usually help him out. And I didn't help him out in this case because there was a cleric, which is a priority target. You have to have that reaction. You know, you can be the best archer in the PW world and just be a beast at destroying people, but if you do not switch targets when you need to because you just want one kill that takes you an extra 2 seconds, it's the difference between that Purify proc saving an enemy's life and not. Like, I immediately switched to the cleric because you do what you have to do in order to win, and it's as simple as that. So here the cleric was way out of position. I don't know if it was a purify proc and they accidentally ran forward really far, but I switched to it, and then what happens, they IG themselves, so we get a free IG out of 2-minute cooldown out of one of their clerics. So here somebody mistakenly said a barb got past us, and so everyone ran back to get it, and then turns out the barb was actually like in front of us, like more towards the enemy base, so we're like, oops, okay. So anyways, we just started, you know, same old killing DDs and stuff like that. And I think this is the point where we were, you know, we've got pretty good lane control because of mistakes that were made and properly capitalized on. And as you can see again, Barb completely alone, gets purged, and he pretty much gets wrecked by the archer. You see the blood vow, and then the magic hits, because I'm only dealing, like, you know, see, 2Ks pretty much. And then the archer, I think, is the one that does most of the damage. S3 archers are so broken right now. The damage is unbelievable. There's nothing you can do. Okay, I guess I did hit some 7Ks there. But still, that guy probably has like 30k HP. Anyways, back on the cleric, normal targets. My advice, if you're a psychic and you're playing in a squad that does a similar role to this, is all about coordination, teamwork, being comfortable with your squad. And, you know, that's how you win TWs. Here, like, I see this guy coming in, I just fortify because I knew I would be able to kill him right after. So even though he stuns 2 of my squad members, he drops for it. There's nothing to follow up, no problem. Here, I see AoE opportunity, so I immediately drop Earth Vector to try and hold that opportunity in place so that other teammates in my squad can capitalize on it. And what happens? Vino goes in, Archer goes in, and then complete separation between their support, the BM, who's now getting owned, and the people who are behind him. And I mean, when people make mistakes like this, it makes the TW really easy. Like, I was dying at the beginning, and that was just me being dumb, because as you can see, when you play smart, when you look at what's happening, when you control the lane properly, you don't really put yourself in danger. I don't think our Vino even died the whole TW. And so here's the part where we finally got to push up, and we pushed up far enough that there was nothing to do on left lane because we wiped it. So we said, alright, let's go to B. So I even bound at the B bind post just in case, like, we needed an emergency push or something, and I could, like, town port and then port to the B bind. But I didn't end up using it. So since we're the left side, my BM just called it. He said, go to the left side and, you know, let's take out some support. And by clearing the left side, it means that that funnels the enemy people down the middle into our faction. So if you can look at my mini-map in the top right corner, you'll see a whole bunch of red dots right on the mid-path. That's all our people and their people. And so we just wanted to get be a distraction on this left side while we could to do it. And so here what happens, the BM runs in, immediately drops HF, I immediately drop AoEs, you wipe a whole bunch of people. Like, we just took out maybe 3 people right there. And this is what happens when you play offense. You gotta just drop areas, clear areas, force pressure, try to spread your enemies out. Like, if they're all grouped together in the middle, just go in and blow them up. If they spread out, take areas and just obliterate them as fast as you can, rotate in and out. Now here my BM, he got purged, and I was like, are you okay? And I asked him, I said literally, like, are you good? Do you need help? And I was watching him. You see, my mouse is sitting on top of him, so that as soon as he gets into a place where he's not good, I was going to cast Spirit Phalanx on him. And here I ended up doing it because he got purged, and he got caught in the air, like he got hovered because of a tackling slash or aim low or something. So I just immediately phalanx him, and then I tried to start clearing out stuff so that he can get away. And it didn't entirely work because he got immediately refocused and died right after. But what we effectively did is we wiped out maybe 3 or 4 people on that left side. We drew another 4 people out here. You see, we've got a BM out here who, instead of dealing with the catapult and our entire B lane squads, which is probably maybe 30, 40 people, he's out here dealing with our squad. And so it's spreading their resources thin and even removing some of them from the process. And as you can see, when we get pressured, what do? We kite back. Just because you're on offense doesn't mean you always have to be pushing forward. There are times to push forward and there are times to kite back. Our catapults were only in the positioning phase of a push, so we didn't just rush in. We just kited back. And at this point, we're like, okay, we've been on B lane long enough. We have to go back and do our job. But because we did that distraction on the B lane, our catapush was then ready to push in. So now the situation is they've got their squads, one of their cata squads pushing down the left lane. We've just wiped maybe a few resources out of their B lane, and our B lane force is ready to push into base. And it's just like they got outplayed, strategically speaking. They've got units out of base on left path. They just lost some on B path, and we've got a full force on B path ready to capitalize on the fact that there's people missing on both. And so we just went over here to deal with the catapults, and that pretty much ended the TW. This is the last push where they finished the crystal off, so pretty much we just sat here and we knew it was going to end, so we just pretty much went straight for the clerics, and we're just like, screw it. So yeah, that is the first TW of this season against GoldDigrz. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, leave a comment. And I cannot guarantee that I will have too much new content coming out because I have a summer job that's pretty, well, yeah, it's going to take up a lot of time, kind of. So I'm still going to try to TW on a regular basis, but probably not much else. So yeah, you can look forward to maybe some more TW videos, and I think I will see you guys next time.